Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Can I get a sound check, please? 10 by 10, 2 by 4 upside my head, whichever you prefer. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday night. So I am bringing Loretta. Nice to see you, Tomcat Koala, Skipping 10, Milk and Honey. Nice to see everybody tonight. So, folks, man, we are just throwing it away. We are just throwing money just out in the wind. So, mayors from New York, Chicago, and other large cities are really struggling with resources. They're blaming Texas, folks, as illegal immigrants move in mass. And it just amazes me that since about 2000, no, I think it was longer than that. I think it was like 1999 when the sanctuary city started, right? And it was the best thing since applesauce. They thought they would be, let's have sanctuary cities. But prior to being elected mayor of New York City in 2021, Eric Adams' campaign posted on Twitter, now known as X, we should protect our immigrants even if they're illegal, period. Yes, New York City will remain a sanctuary city under the Adams administration, folks. Less than 2 years later, now Mayor Adams is suggesting that illegal immigrants are destroying New York City. So I want to put this out there right now. The current establishment has allowed 1.9 million people to come across the southern border illegally. So what does that mean for me and you folks? It is not a it's not a good thing. This is him, quote, let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to, but I don't see an ending to this. They're really, really upset with what's happening in Texas as Texas is bussing them out to sanctuary cities. Texas has been overrun at the border. Right now, 1.9 million people have came across the border within the last 6 to 12 months. That 1.9 million, folks, that's a lot of people. They're getting 10,000 migrants a month in New York. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, began busing illegal immigrants to several large U.S. cities known as sanctuary cities, beginning this last April. This is why I'm bringing this up. So we have all these people coming in. One, they're illegal. Two, they haven't went through the proper steps to come into our country, right, folks? And I have no problem. It doesn't matter to me what nationality you are, where you're from, none of that. What religion you are, I don't care. What I do care about is there's a legal way to do things and an illegal way to do things. And with this many people coming across the border, it is not only stressing out the sanctuary cities, but it also should put a little stress on us. And I'm about to tell you why. So the figures go in, and I went and did some research and looked around and moseyed around and figured out, well, like, how much is this really costing the United States? Like, when we really boil it down. So I want to say this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hold back a minute before I don't want to get going too quick, too fast, because I might go off. Um, Folks, I don't know about you, but most Americans right now are struggling. They're struggling. As of September 8th, Mr. Abbott's office reported it had bused more than 11,300 illegal immigrants to Washington since April of last year, more than 13,500 to New York, and over 7,000 to Chicago since August of 2022. And now he's loading up Philadelphia. So this is a major catastrophe. I mean, I got to kind of smirk because it just like it's really unbelievable what's happening. So Texas started busing illegal immigrants now to Denver, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. Those are the new cities that are on their list, right? Border Patrol agents have apprehended 1,973,092 illegal immigrants across the southwest border in the last 11 months. And this is according to the CBP, which is the Customs and Border Protection data. More than 1 million of those crossed into Texas alone. And this is a major, major catastrophe. In response to the border surge in 2021, Mr. Abbott launched Operation Lone Star. And Operation Lone Star was like, hey, we're not taking all of them. You're allowing them, the current administration, you're allowing them to come over. So we're going to ship them out to you. And I think it's a great idea. But this is a big thing, is the Texas Department of Safety and the Texas National Guard have said that the southern border, with this increased funding for border security, it's not helping. There's more Mexican drug cartels that are coming in than ever before, foreign terrorist organizations, and this busing program is just shipping them all over the country. So we all ought to be excited because even if you don't live near a big city, trust and believe they're coming to your area. We actually here in just Willow Springs, 15, 20 minutes away where our small town is. And folks, they were standing on the corner begging for money. So this is my big question to each and every one of you, right? So this is the figures, actual figures. 1.9 million people, and it only costs $383 per night. Just $383 per night. And that is because they can't get jobs because it's illegal for them to work. We have to provide them food as Americans. We have to provide them food. And then on top of that, we got to make sure their medical, dental, and vision is taken care of. So do some quick calculations, folks. 1.9 million since last year at $383 a night. We're just going to talk one night. That's $727 million dollars a day. 727 million. We can't take care of our vets. Our schools are crumbling. Our roads need repair. Our infrastructure is a disaster. But we're going to pay $727 million dollars per night for illegals. This isn't adding up. This is not adding up. And folks, the thing is the current administration policies have refused to secure the border, and they're inviting illegal immigration. What we're inviting, it's not law-abiding citizens. It's not people that want to come to the United States and work and prosper and try to live the American dream, even though we're seeing it shatter, right? These are people that are rapists, murderers, convicts. We've seen several videos of these men coming across the border carrying little children across their shoulders, and the children look out of it like they have been uh, in some kind of drugs have been put on these little kids. We see major human trafficking coming from the southern border, but yet our current administration does not want to step in and do anything except they welded the gates open. They welded the gates open, that's for sure. Texas supports legal immigration. When I lived in Texas, I want to say this. When I first got there, I had a big 26-foot U-Haul truck and moved into Dallas, and I was living in the Lakes of Capel, very nice neighborhood. My neighbor comes out and he says, "Hey, go get you some workers." I'm like, "I would love to have workers. I just drove like 14 hours. It was a rough drive." He said, "Go down there to Enterprise Rent a Car and they'll run to your truck to work." And I said, "Well, what do I pay him?" He said, "Just pay him whatever." And I asked him. I said, "Okay." So I pull up, and y'all, Texas don't mind that you set in their parking lots and people will come by and pick you up. Texas actually has huts that you can go and as a legal immigrant, you can go set in those huts to get a job on a day-to-day labor basis where you're paid daily. And the nice thing is I mean, I can say this for Texas from being there during the big crisis, right? Um, when the real estate crisis happened, I was a loan officer, and what happened is you would pull up to one of those shacks or lean tubes, and a foreman would come out and say, "How much are you going to pay them? How many hours are they going to work? And will you bring them back to this location?" And then they had an ID, and he would yell their number, and they would come and get in your vehicle. So Texas has a program to try to help these legal immigrants work. And they do support legal immigration, right? They do. But they don't support what's happening. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody tonight. So this is the thing: is that sanctuary cities have been around a long time, and cities are now screaming. These sanctuary cities are screaming out loud. They're crying foul. On August 9th, Mr. Adams said the influx of illegal immigrants to New York City has led to an unprecedented state of emergency. The city actually wants the National Guard to step in. The people are sleeping on the streets. The people are sleeping in little cubbies at the doorways. It has become a major situation. He says they do not have the authorization to work, so we have to provide them shelter. We have to supply them food and access to health care. And we have to enroll them, children, in schools. They've opened up almost 200 emergency sites, including more than a dozen large scale humanitarian relief centers, as well as the American Red Cross and other nonprofit organizations are putting their resources into these sanctuary cities to try to help illegals. Now, I would say honestly, how many of you in the chat right now really don't like the information I'm giving tonight? I would hit a one. So we spend an average of $383 per night to provide shelter, food, medical care, and social services. And that's just in one city. So just in New York alone, 57,300 individuals currently are in our care. And that amounts to $9.8 million dollars a day, almost $300 million dollars a month, and nearly $3.6 billion dollars a year. But yet, you and me, brothers and sisters, we're all seeing hyperinflation. Many of our elders that are living on Social Security can't even afford to get basic necessities. Many people are living paycheck to paycheck in the United States, over 75% now. It was 70, now we're going up a little bit more. On May 9th, the state's Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency over the influx of immigrants and said that they should stand up against Texas doing these bad things to them. Well, they actually filed unanimously approved two motions to file against Mr. Abbott in Texas for doing this. So it's okay if they're in Texas. It's okay if they're along the border. It's okay if they're eating up resources that really shouldn't be going to them. I mean, I can think of a lot better things to do with $3.6 billion dollars a year. Like maybe bring down rent costs somehow, some way for Americans that are sleeping on the streets around this country, that Americans are sleeping in their RVs, that Americans are unable to get health care, that America, oh, America the Great, can't take care of its own people. Maybe it's time for some things to change. But the other thing is the first motion states investigate and report on whether human trafficking, kidnapping, or any other crime was committed on or before June 14th, 2023, when Governor Greg Abbott of Texas sent 42 migrants from McAllen, Texas to Los Angeles. Well. The second states investigate and begin proceedings on a potential civil legal action that can be taken against the state of Texas and Governor Greg Abbott. So it's okay to leave him in Texas, but it's not okay to send him over to Camilla's house. Let's send him to Joe's. Let's send him to Joe's. I mean, like, honestly, folks, it is downright disgusting what's happening. Oh, speaking of coffee, I'm glad to see everybody tonight. I appreciate you coming in and showing support. I hope you will hit the thumbs up. At least do that. Now, I want to talk just a little bit about the sanctuary cities. The United States currently has 10 of the largest. I'm going to talk about the 10 largest, and there's lots of sanctuary cities. They have existed since the 1970s. The numbers of cities adopting sanctuary policies has risen dramatically over the last few decades. A sanctuary policy can encompass measures adapted by the city to some degree limit participation in federal immigration enforcement and or with some interference with uh, federal agents fulfillment of their duties. So they have like this little push to step back and like not have to do that. But this is the thing. I'm going to name off our wonderful top 10 here in the United States. These are the 10 largest. And one of them is just crying boo hoo, boo hoo. New York City. Does New York City, are some of these cities, did they just ask for what they got? They wanted to be a sanctuary city. With a total population of 8.3 million, the Big Apple is not only the largest sanctuary city in the nation, but also one of its oldest. In August of 1989, Mayor Ed Koch signed an executive order barring the disclosure of information about an individual's immigration status. Today alone, just right down there at the southern border, illegal border crossings today, the ones they caught, 6,327. Oh, no, 6,328. I got a counter going. Well, folks, hold on. Let's see what it's like by the end of the broadcast. Oh, 6,329. That's how fast they're coming across the border on a daily basis. Roughly 10,000 or more. That they're catching. Oh, and then they throw them on a bus. 6,330. We're growing the numbers. And I'm watching a live ticker right now. The next sanctuary city on the chart is Los Angeles, California, as Los Angeles has exploded with homelessness. I love LA. Man, I used to love LA back in the 80s. It was nothing but strawberry fields and orange orchards as far as you could see, and a whole lot of ocean. It was beautiful. But now, Los Angeles is the second largest city in the U.S. with approximately 4 million purple, yeah, people. And folks, they are having a major, major problem with the illegals coming in there. Now, they used to work fields and they were happy-go-lucky. The next one is Chicago. Chicago, the Windy City, is falling apart. We already know that. With approximately 2.7 million people in Chicago, they are illegal alien sanctuaries since the year 2006, and it was the adoption of the City Council welcoming city ordinance. They wanted to bring in more in 2013. Now, they would like to call in the National Guard to protect their asses as people are sleeping on the streets. We're now at 6,337 people that have just crossed into the border today illegally. I'm just keeping y'all in the loop. I want to keep you in the now. And we have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's coming in with 1.6 million people. 12.7% were born outside of the United States. I have no problem. We are the melting pot of the world. But come in illegally. Come in legally, not illegally. Don't make us pay your way. Oh, what was that figure? What was that figure? 1.9 million times 383 a night roughs out to about $727 million a night. Boy, we're on a roll. United States, throw that money in the air, baby. Oh, we're at 6,341. Just keeping you in the loop. And one of the places that I was a teenager and I grew up in, San Diego, California. It's on the top 10. San Diego, California at one time was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It is now inundated with homelessness, drugs, and the Mexican cartel. Now they have a direct avenue. You just come right on up to Tijuana, jump on the train, go right on over into Chula Vista, California. And bada boom, bada bang, you are in the USA. I actually watched people sneak under the bridge there. It was back in the 80s, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And they would go home at night because they would work in the United States and go home. But now, as we're all footing the bill, how do y'all feel about footing the bill? Do y'all like that? Do y'all like that you're footing the bill for 6,345 new illegals that just came across the border today? How do you feel about that? Take that number times $383 per night. So just tonight's going to cost us a nice chunk of money, but yet we can't take care of our veterans. Sad. San Jose, California is coming in on the top. Columbus, Ohio. Imagine that. I would never guess Columbus, Ohio is on that top 10, but it is. Ladies and gentlemen, San Francisco. What are they doing in San Francisco? I heard there's only two things in San Francisco. I'm not going to name them. Anyway, there's furries in San Francisco. And you can go on up to Seattle and you can find you some more furries. And now in Seattle, they are really having a fit. In 2003, they thought it was the best thing since applesauce. They passed an ordinance, unanimous decision. And in 2010, to avoid triggering deportation, they didn't want to send them back. But now, Seattle, oh beautiful Seattle, sitting on Queens Eye and all those beautiful oceans, is a cesspool of shit. In 2016, Seattle Mayor Ed Murray pledged to keep its status as a sanctuary city, and a year later, the Seattle City Council passed a resolution declaring the city would not comply with detainers or administrative warrants without a criminal warrant issued by a federal judge. So on top of hold on, let's get this all right. Oh, 6,353. Oh, 6,354 people have just came across the border. Now, let's get this right though, folks. So, on top of the $383 per night, on top of it, you're gonna drag stuff into court and use up more free Oh, okay. So you get a free attorney, you get a free cell phone, you get free housing, you get a free hotel, you get free food. Your kids get sent to school free, and you're illegal. Wow, wow, wow. 6,357 and counting. Denver, Colorado, my home state. Oh, Jesus Christ, son of a. Yeah. Became an illegal alien sanctuary on the basis on April 2014. Sheriff's Department memo stated that Denver no longer honors immigration detainers. Oh, gosh. What's up, Reg? What's up, Reggie? So we're just, oh, man, they're just flying. So that's our top 10 for the United States. We are now at 6,350. Oh, 6,360. Woo, it's nightfall. They are coming across the border. Poof. Lord help us. Folks, it is time for us to actively get involved in our local governments. It is time for us to take back our country, one city, one state, one county at a time. Because I'll tell you what, folks, we are now at 6,362 people that have came across the border, and it's going to keep on coming. Folks, if we don't get actively involved, and if we don't stop capitulating, huh, this country, you think it's a disaster now? Wait till next year. Just wait. Folks, you will see live streams coming out more often. You're going to see news coming out more often. I'm glad that you're here. The news broadcast will be, I am shooting for 5 to 7 days a week now. I will be switching them back and forth between day and night until I can figure out a great schedule through the rest of this month. After that, I'm going to try my hardest to stick to the schedule of bringing back the news quite a bit because there's so much going on. We will soon be a third world country. Dragonflies, can you change? Can you retract your comment, please? Could you retract that? Because we are now considered a third world country. Dragonflies, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are considered a third world country. We can't provide for our own people. We can't provide for our own kids. We have furries in the school. We have puff puffs and fruitcakes up in San Francisco. What's next? Welcome to your America. God bless each and every one of you from our little piece of heaven here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at. Make today count. But I want to say this on an ending note tonight. Get involved. Get involved. Don't sit and bitch and complain and not get involved. And second, when it's time to vote, I don't care what the hell they say. I don't care what the hell they try to pull. Show up at the booth. Don't mail it in. And be very alert of your voting. Be very cautious of how and you're voting. Pay attention, folks. We are at the edge of the cliff. We're looking down. God bless you from here in the Ozarks. Big prepper hugs. Boom. I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless you. I think there's a video coming out in the morning too. And I think there's some demos coming out soon. Thanks for being here. Tamara, RCX, George Mitchell, Dragonfly, Simon Templar, Carol, Skippington, RCX. Nice to see everybody. God bless. Keep on doing the legwork. Do the dang thing. And do it on a daily basis. Until I see you again.